Why do so many people die before reaching 85, even when they seem perfectly healthy in their 70s? It's a haunting question, one that lingers in the back of the mind, especially if you're doing everything right. You eat well. You take your meds. You see your doctor. So what's going wrong? Here's the unsettling truth. It's not usually the big things that cut life short. It's the little ones. The habits we ignore. The slow damage we don't even feel happening. No loud warnings. No dramatic symptoms. Just subtle signs, creeping in day by day. Until one day, it's too late to turn back. And the worst part? Most people never realize what's really stealing their years until it's already taken them. But not you. Because in this video, we're going to uncover the 5 deadly habits that silently shorten life after 60 and show you exactly how to avoid them. These aren't generic get more sleep tips or vague advice to stay healthy. These are real, deeply human truths, backed by stories, supported by science, proven by the people who've outlived their peers and still wake up with clarity, strength, and purpose. If you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, and you want more than just years on the calendar, if you want life in those years, then what you're about to hear could change everything. Because you still have time. And what you choose to do today might be the reason you see 85, and maybe even 95. Let's begin. Most people think the body breaks down because of age, but often it's because we stopped using it. One of the biggest mistakes people make after 60 is believing that if they're not doing formal exercise, they're not doing anything that counts. You know the type: gym memberships, yoga classes, fitness apps. But let's be real. Those routines are hard to start and even harder to stick with. And so, people give up. Not intentionally. Not with a big decision. Just slowly over time. Sitting a little longer. Walking a little less. Choosing convenience over motion. But here's the truth. It's not about lifting weights or running marathons. What keeps you alive longer than you think are the tiny movements you make every single day. Standing while you talk on the phone. Walking to the mailbox. Bending down to grab something off the floor. These aren't just chores, they're life-preserving acts. And when you stop doing them, your body takes notice. Muscles start to weaken, even if you don't feel it at first. Joints stiffen slowly. Balance fades. And the scariest part? You often don't realize it's happening until something bad happens, like a fall. Or waking up one day too tired to even get dressed. Let me tell you about Walter. He was a retired bus driver from Iowa, 78 years old. After retiring, he figured he'd earned his rest. No more rushing, no more walking routes. He thought he was just slowing down with age. Nothing hurt, but he started feeling weaker, stiffer. One morning, he lost his balance, just tried to get out of bed and landed on the floor. His doctor told him something shocking. "Walter, your strength is disappearing faster than your age explains." That was his wake-up call. He didn't join a gym. He didn't hire a trainer. He just made one rule. Never sit longer than 30 minutes without moving. Stretch, walk across the room, do a few leg lifts while waiting for his coffee. Simple stuff, but it made a big difference. 6 months later, Walter said he felt 5 years younger. Not because he worked harder, but because he moved more. You see, when you stop moving, your body assumes you're done. Blood circulation slows. Brain activity dips. Mood drops. Even digestion and bone strength take a hit. It's like your entire system says, "We're not needed anymore," and starts quietly shutting down. But there's a powerful truth here. Movement is medicine. In fact, one major study found that just standing and moving for 3 minutes every 30 minutes reduced early death risk by over 30%. That's not sprinting. That's not CrossFit. That's gentle, intentional motion. Yet most people don't do it, not because they can't, but because they don't know how much it matters. And it's not just about your body. Movement improves your mood, your focus, even your outlook on life. People who move regularly feel more motivated, more independent, and more in control of their day. So if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, and you're wondering how to hold on to your independence, start with your legs. Start with one walk. One stretch, one reminder that you're still here and still moving forward. Because the moment you stop moving, your body, starts planning a different ending to your story. And that's one ending you can still rewrite. Most people think they'll feel it when something's wrong. But some of the deadliest threats to your life after 60? You don't feel them. Not at first. Not until it's already done real damage. High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, colon cancer. These aren't dramatic. They don't come with alarms or big warning signs. They creep in quietly, working behind the scenes while you go about your day. And by the time you notice the symptoms, it might be too late to undo the harm. That's what makes skipping preventive checkups one of the most dangerous habits after 60. A lot of people avoid the doctor unless something hurts. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they're scared. Or maybe they've convinced themselves that getting older just means feeling worse. So what's the point of checking? But that mindset is costing lives. Think of your body like a car. You wouldn't wait for smoke to pour out of the hood before checking the oil, right? But that's exactly what so many people do with their health. They wait until something breaks, instead of catching the issue early when it's still easy to fix. Take Evelyn, a 72-year-old grandmother from Ohio. She felt fine, just a little tired. But who doesn't feel that way sometimes? Her daughter convinced her to get a full checkup, and that's when they found it. Evelyn's blood sugar was sky high. She was already pre-diabetic and had no idea. But here's the good news. Because she caught it early, she was able to reverse it. No meds, no hospital visits, just walking every evening and cutting out sugary snacks. A year later, her numbers were normal, and her energy was better than it had been in years. Now imagine if she hadn't gone. That's the razor's edge older adults walk on. Not because they're fragile, but because they're uninformed or afraid. And fear is the real villain here. Fear of bad news. Fear of aging. Fear of being told what we don't want to hear. But avoiding the doctor doesn't protect you. It blinds you. It takes away your power. Because here's the truth. When you know what's happening inside your body, you're not helpless. You're in control. You can act. You can change. You can fight back. And yet, many older adults still carry this old belief. If I don't know, it can't hurt me. But for people over 60, the opposite is true. What you don't know is exactly what can hurt you. Screenings like colonoscopies, mammograms, prostate exams, blood pressure checks. These aren't just for catching disease. They're your early warning system. They're the difference between a fixable problem and a crisis you didn't see coming. And it's not just about catching sickness. It's about peace of mind. Knowing your numbers. Understanding your body. Having a doctor who's not guessing, but tracking. That kind of confidence bleeds into every part of your life. Your sleep, your stress, your choices. It builds a sense of control that's priceless. After 60. So here's the takeaway. Don't wait until something feels wrong. Don't wait until you collapse or get rushed to the ER. Be proactive. Be aware. And be relentless about staying one step ahead. Because when it comes to living past 85, luck doesn't get you there. Awareness does. You'd expect heart disease, maybe cancer, to be the top threats after 60. But one of the deadliest and quietest is something far more invisible. Loneliness. It sounds harmless, maybe even normal in old age. But the science says otherwise. Chronic isolation in seniors increases the risk of early death by as much as 45%. That's the same risk level as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Let that sink in. And yet, we rarely talk about it. Not because it doesn't matter, but because it hides so well. People drift away from friends. A spouse passes. The house gets quieter. Invitations stop coming. And without realizing it, one missed phone call turns into weeks of silence, then months. At first, you tell yourself, I'm just enjoying peace and quiet. But over time, something changes. You stop laughing. Stop getting dressed. Stop caring if you spoke to anyone that day. That's how it begins. Take George. He was 78, living in Arizona. After his wife died, he barely spoke to anyone for nearly 2 years, except a mailman and maybe a clerk at the grocery store. No one checked in. He didn't ask them to. He didn't want to bother anyone. But inside, he was slowly disappearing. He lost weight. His sleep worsened. His arthritis flared up. His spark was gone. Then, something small happened. A neighbor invited him to a weekly coffee group at the community center. George didn't want to go. He almost didn't. But he showed up once. And that one visit changed everything. A few laughs. A few shared stories. And suddenly, he had a reason to wake up again. 3 months later, he was a regular. His mood lifted. His posture straightened. Even his chronic pain felt easier to manage. That's not coincidence. That's human connection doing what medication can't. You see, the human brain was never designed for isolation. It needs other people to stay sharp, stay hopeful, stay alive. When you talk, laugh, listen, your brain fires. Your immune system strengthens. Your stress lowers. Even your memory improves. But when you're alone too often, the opposite happens. Your mind dulls. Your body weakens. Your health quietly begins to unravel. And the tragedy is most people don't even notice it happening until they've pulled too far away. That's why this isn't just about surrounding yourself with people. It's about connection, real, honest connection. You don't need a party. You don't need 50 friends. You just need someone. Someone who hears you. Someone who sees you. And if that sounds hard, if it's been a while, start small. Call a friend, even if it's been years. Say hi to your neighbor when you grab the mail. Join a book club, a walking group, a community class. You might feel awkward. That's okay. What matters is that you try, that you show up for your own life. Because here's the real cost of loneliness. You don't just lose other people, you lose yourself. And your story, your voice, your wisdom still matters. More than you know. So, if you've felt distant lately, if the days are starting to blur together, don't wait for someone to come knock on your door. Be the one who knocks. Because reconnecting with others might just be the very thing that brings you back to life. If you could peek inside the bodies of most people over 60, you'd see something quietly burning. Not pain. Not fever. Inflammation. It's not the kind that makes your joints throb or your head pound. At least not at first. This is deeper. Slower. Silent. But it's just as destructive. Doctors call it chronic low-grade inflammation, and it's been linked to nearly every major disease of aging, from Alzheimer's to heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, and even cancer. Think of it like a slow fire in your body. Not enough to set off alarms, but enough to damage your organs, weaken your immune system, and age you from the inside out. And the scary part? Most people walking around with it feel fine. Until one day they're not. What causes this internal blaze? It's not just one thing. It's a combination. The processed food we eat just once in a while. The sleep we cut short. The stress we carry but never release. The daily inactivity we've convinced ourselves is normal. Even gut health plays a role. When your digestive system is off balance, when your gut bacteria are dying off from years of antibiotics, sugar, and lack of fiber, your immune system gets confused. It starts attacking you. Little by little, damage builds. Cells become inflamed. Blood vessels stiffen. Tissues break down. And unlike a stubbed toe or twisted ankle, you don't see it. You don't feel it. Until it finally shows up as something bigger, a diagnosis, a collapse, a moment that forces you to ask, where did this come from? But by then, the fire's been burning for years. So how do you put out? Not with one pill. Not with one salad. But with consistent choices, small shifts that smother the sparks before they turn to flames. Start with what goes on your plate. Anti-inflammatory foods like berries, leafy greens, fatty fish, olive oil, turmeric. These aren't trends. They're medicine. Your daily fuel determines whether your body heals or burns. Then look at movement. You don't need to run marathons, but your blood needs to circulate. Your joints need to bend. Your muscles need reminders that they still matter. Even a 15-minute walk each day can cool inflammation and extend your life. And don't forget sleep. Real, deep, uninterrupted sleep. That's when your body repairs damage, flushes toxins, extinguishes the little fires before they spread. Still not convinced? Consider this. Studies have found that seniors with lower levels of inflammation have better memory, stronger hearts, fewer aches, and even slower skin aging. This isn't just about living longer. It's about feeling better while you do. Because here's the truth most people miss. Aging doesn't hurt, inflammation does. And if you can cool that inner fire, everything else starts to heal. It doesn't happen all at once. At first, it's subtle, a few quiet mornings, a calendar with nothing on it, a day where no one needs you. You sleep in a little later, skip a chore, watch the hours blur together, and without realizing it, you begin to drift. Not physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. This drift has a name. It's called losing purpose, and it might be the most dangerous thing that can happen after 70. Because when you no longer feel needed, useful, or inspired, your health starts to follow. Fast. Researchers have found that people with a strong sense of purpose live longer, up to 7 years longer, on average. They're less likely to develop Alzheimer's, less prone to depression, and more resilient to illness. Why? Because purpose acts like an anchor. It gives your brain a reason to stay sharp, your heart a reason to keep pumping, your body a reason to get out of bed. Without it, the days become weightless. You begin to feel invisible. And that invisibility, it's deadly. Many seniors fall into this trap after retirement. The job is gone. The kids are grown. The house is quiet. And no one says it out loud, but the question creeps in, what now? Some fill the space with TV. Some with sleep. Some with silence. But purpose can't be replaced with passivity. It has to be rebuilt, even if it looks different than it once did. Maybe your new purpose is teaching, not in a classroom, but through mentoring, storytelling, or simply sharing your wisdom with the next generation. Maybe it's creating, painting, writing, gardening, fixing things with your hands. Maybe it's helping, volunteering, checking on a neighbor, adopting a pet who needs love as much as you do. Whatever it is, it doesn't need to be big. It just needs to matter to you. Because purpose is what makes you fight harder when you're sick. What keeps your mind curious? What reminds you that you are still part of something bigger? One study found that seniors who volunteered regularly had lower levels of inflammation, better memory, and even fewer falls. Why? Because they had a reason to keep going. So if the days are starting to feel empty, if you've stopped making plans, stop looking forward, don't wait for purpose to find you. Go find it. Try something new. Help someone else. Reconnect with what made you you in the first place. Because the real danger isn't growing old. It's growing disconnected from what makes life worth living. And as long as you have breath in your lungs, your purpose isn't gone. It's just waiting to be rediscovered. You've made it this far. So let's be honest, most people never do. Most people scroll past. They don't want to think about death, or loneliness, or slow decline. They tell themselves, I'm fine, and ignore the quiet signs until it's too late. But not you. You're here because something inside you knows. There's more. More life. More health. More strength than you've been told to expect after 70. And the truth is, your future doesn't have to be written in decline. Yes, the world may treat aging like a slow fade out. But the real danger isn't getting older. It's believing that your best years are already behind you. They're not. You have the power to rewrite what aging looks like. Not with some magic pill or overnight change, but with the choices you make every single day. Choose to move, even when it hurts. Choose to screen, to check, to know what's happening inside your body before it's too late. Choose to connect with people, with purpose, with anything that reminds you you're still here and still matter. Choose to fight that silent fire of inflammation through what you eat, how you sleep, how you treat your body like it still deserves respect. And most of all, choose to believe that it is never too late to change your story. So if this video moved you, even a little, do one thing today, share it. Because someone else out there is drifting, quietly, alone, lost in a routine that's slowly killing them. And this might be the spark they need to turn it all around. If you're ready for more stories like this, grounded in truth, wrapped in hope, subscribe and join the conversation below. Tell us, what's one change you are committing to after watching this? Because the conversation doesn't end here. It starts with you.